Alright, taking a look at the HRRR model for 10Z. This is the latest updated storm model for later today. To see that they are showing very prominent development, which is very similar to what is currently going on across northern Mississippi, northern Louisiana, and southern Arkansas, as well as far eastern Texas. This is going to take on a very similar look to most typical QLCS lines, with some large hail, damaging winds, probably up to 70 to 75 miles per hour in localized spots. It's not really until probably early this afternoon that we really start to see some of the tornadic supercellular storms start to develop, probably around 1, 2 o'clock across far eastern Louisiana, southwestern and south central Mississippi. This is going to be very, very intense storms that are going to start in probably a confluence line band in somewhere, anywhere really east of Natchez. Take a look at Google Maps here so you can get a better look at what I'm talking about here into Mississippi. This is not anything to really mess around with. This is going to be a very intense severe weather outbreak, I believe. Anywhere from really Jackson to Macomb to Brookhaven. I think Brookhaven is probably going to be the sweet spot today, honestly. If I was to guess, given these latest models, that's kind of where everything's going to start to begin. Somewhere near Brookhaven, there's going to be multiple intense supercells that develop across central and eastern Mississippi that continue all the way into Alabama. And then that is going to go on until probably 11 or 12 o'clock midnight across Alabama. Take a look at some of the significant TOR parameters for today. Very intense storms are likely going to set up across Mississippi. Don't really know how strong they're going to get, but I do think that we're probably going to get an EF3, if not an EF4 today, across Mississippi, somewhere across the state, maybe even going into Alabama. Guidance has been kind of up and down in this area, but I do think that a general idea of supercells are going to probably develop somewhere around Mississippi. Going to get a really good guidance probably at 8 o'clock this morning once the 12Z model updates. Do have a tornado warning right now, kind of the lone tornado warning so far today across over Holly Springs, going over into Ashland and Walnut, Mississippi. This is the only tornado warning that we have in effect right now. Several of these storms are, we're kind of beginning to see a line take place. So all these storms are likely heading north-northeast right now towards Greenville, Cleveland, Mississippi, as well as over into maybe Natchez. We're getting some development that's just begun over Fort Johnson. It looks like there's a kind of like an isolated cell that's struggling to get really going. Maybe this is the beginning of a confluence band that's starting from really Ball to Alexandria. Expect that to push northeast as well, probably into Natchez, St. Joseph, likely by probably the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour. Into Jackson as well as into Canton, Yazoo City. Be on high alert today. Taking a look again at this supercell. Very kind of like, this is kind of probably going to be the next storm to watch near Hickory Valley as well as into Bolivar and Hornsby, because a lot of these storms are taking on linear mode so far this morning, so I don't really think we're going to be seeing too many tornadic supercells or tornadoes that really begin until it gets into that more favorable environment. Taking a look at some of the better now forecasts, we do have a high risk of severe weather in place with a 30% chance for tornadoes, really from Birmingham to Jackson, Tuscaloosa, Hoover, Hattiesburg, where there is that very strong chance for significant tornadoes, really all the way up into Nashville and Atlanta. There should be a good shot that there is at least a few tornadoes that take place in that area as well. But the real main focus today is probably going to be anywhere from central Mississippi down in the southwestern and south central Mississippi, as well as eastern Mississippi, northern and south or northern, south, really all of Alabama and all of Mississippi is under that threat for tornadoes today. There is a tornado watch in place that was just issued until 1 o'clock today. That goes from Monroe down to Alexandria, as well as Fort Polk, Greenwood, Tupelo, Greenville, and expect further tornado watches to be issued as the day progresses. Probabilities, there is a pretty good chance for tornadoes really in this whole corridor, 70, 60, so 60% chance for a significant tornado in this area. Taking a look at the current situation, we do have a very linear mode though, but I do think that this confluence band that's beginning near Alexandria is going to continue to get stronger throughout the next few hours, and there should be a very heightened risk for tornadoes. Taking a look, we do kind of have a secondary low pressure system that's forming over the Gulf Coast and into the central Gulf Coast. Taking a look at the dew points this morning, very amped atmosphere. We have, I think, 70, 72, 74 degree dew points into south and south central Mississippi. So the environment is primed for this right now. The environment is honestly very primed for this. And I do think that as the morning progresses, that this is just going to become more of an increased shot for severe weather. So taking a look kind of at the next few hours here, I do think that there's going to be a very significant shot for severe weather in this vicinity. I'm going to try to draw it out. I don't know if I can. Wait, let me screenshot. And then we'll go. Here we go. So I'm going to draw this out as to the best of my ability from what I really see happening today. I think there's going to be a heightened risk for severe weather really from this area right here. Like, if you really think about, like, if you really look strongly, I do see that there's going to be a very potent line of severe thunderstorms that's set up probably in this corridor. So this is going to be something to definitely keep an eye on throughout the rest of the morning. Wind shear, we got that in place. Very potent wind shear. Cape is very intense. Oh my God, this is my first time seeing this. So 250,000 joules per kilogram. So that is very, very intense Cape that's in place right now. If it could break the Cape, if these storms could top and break the Cape, then I do think that we are going to be getting some very intense supercells later this afternoon along that confluence line band. Right now, environment is pretty prime for tornadoes. Could see that it's just very intense. This is going to be probably a historic tornado outbreak today across really Mississippi and Alabama, where there's very intense prime. Taking a look, I think we should probably look at a few of the models for later today just to kind of get a grip of what is going to take place. So you can see that there is very intense snow over Minnesota this morning, as well as into upper Michigan potentially. I haven't gotten a chance to look at that side of the model yet, but I'm going to take a look at the HRRR model from this past hour, since this morning's is still updating, or this hour's is still updating, to kind of get a grip of what we're looking at here. So tornado parameters, let's just do 60. Yeah, it's going to be very intense over Mississippi. Taking a look at one of the models for Mississippi, yes, PDS tornado. This is 455 M2S2, heightened, 69 degree dew point. Look at that curve, perfect autograph too. So this, if you really look at some of the dialogues, it does compare us to 5/1/21, it looks like, maybe. Wait, let's take a look at that. May 1st, 2021 tornado. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's